Hello and welcome back to the Stronghold. I'm the Magi, and you know what time it is, and we're gonna get our midweek magic on. This week's midweek magic is an opportunity to get our Brawl on in a somewhat historic fashion. And we're going to be bringing back an archetype that was very well received in a recent midweek magic for Pauper. That's right, we are going to be taking a look at Yorion in all of his blink action. But before we get into all that, allow me to do the awkward thing and promote the channel. A while back, one of my viewers was kind enough to point out that we are the only channel putting out timely midweek magic content. So be sure to subscribe right here at the Planeswalker Stronghold for all of your future midweek magic needs, because we will be bringing you a deck list or strategy every single week. So what do you say we put all this aside and just get to that? Alright, so let's do a brief deck tech on this. Obviously, the commander is the one and only Yorion, which is available in recent standard years packs. I believe it is one of the multiverse mythics out of March of the Machine, if memory serves. But to be honest, they're doing so many of these bonus sheets at this point, it's hard to keep everything straight. What we've got there is the 5 columns, Yorion obviously all by himself as the commander, and then we've got the mana base, and honestly that's pretty basic here. Your standard dual lands that are available over the last couple of years, your command tower that you got free, Fabled Passage, which I think is one of the best rare wild cards you can spend on land. Plaza of Heroes, of course, is very nice from the current standard mix, as is Thran Portal. Arcane Signet comes to you free as part of your new player experience. Cold Steel Heart is just a nice 2-drop accelerant, as is Mind Stone and Ornithopter of Paradise. You may have to spend some wild cards in there, but generally, if you're into Brawl, and I'm presuming you kind of are at this point, those are all solid investments. The remaining 3 columns, the first is your blink bounce attributes. The second column here is things that give you value when they are blinked or otherwise ETB. And of course, the last column is just general value. So we're going to go through them here pretty quickly here. I presume most of you guys are familiar with the cards, either from Standard, which is where I tried to draw most of this deck, or the recent additions that you may have made in the historic Pauper event that I featured Azorius Pauper Blink in. First off, of course, we've got Cloud Shift, Ephemerate, Essence Flux, Fading Hope, Unsummon from your new player experience. Wash Away from the current standard, Momentary Blink. That one you may have already spent a wild card on. It's certainly worth it. Planar Incision from Standard, Blur from the current Alchemy set, or not current Alchemy set, from the current Alchemy rotation. Soul Herder, it's not entirely a blink thing itself, although it does. It's also a blink payoff. And, well, I put it in this column because it's my video, and that's how I did it. Teleportation Circle, this is one of the rares. It may be worth the wild card to you if this is kind of an experimental phase for you and you're not sure. This is one I might hold off on. As is Displacer Kitten. This one, of course, is more available to us as part of Alchemy, so this is one of those you're not going to be able to play at all in other non-alchemy formats. Illusionist Stratagem. That's a mouthful. Another blink effect, and as part of your new player experience, the rare Rivers Rebuke. Everybody has this card. You don't need to spend a wild card on it. Last I checked. Selfless Savior is a part of the value package, as is Soul Warden. I mean, she doesn't particularly give you value when she ETBs, but she will give you value when everything else ETBs, especially when you do those mass blink effects like Yorion. You're just going to rack up life. Dawnbringer Cleric, Ambitious Farmhand, Resolute Reinforcements, Spirited Companion. Daxos is very much like Soul Warden, but you may not be quite as familiar with it. This also creates a fairly high barrier on the ground. It makes it very hard to swing at you. Omen of the Sea, one of the non-creature blink payoffs. Reckoner Bankbuster, I think everybody's familiar with. Patch Plate Resolute, if you played the recent 2024 New Player Experience previews, you probably got some experience with this card. It can be rather busted, and I don't often recommend alchemy cards, but it might very well be worth the wild card. Or if you want to hold off on this one, it was in that 2024 New Player Experience preview, so it's entirely possible you're going to get some copies for free, although that has not been confirmed at the time of recording. Argavian Cavalier, Inspiring Overseer, Lorna of the Third Path. Omen is another one of the non-creatures, always good times. Priest of Ancient Lore, it is basically just like, where did it go? Why can I not find this? I hate this. Oh, Inspiring Overseer. It's exactly like Inspiring Overseer, except it doesn't fly. Forbidding Spirit is a nice little payoff. When it ETBs, nothing can attack you for a turn. Good stuff. Possibly well worth an uncommon wildcard here. Channeler, I think you know. Cloudkin Seer comes to you as part of your new player experience. So don't feel like you have to craft this particular version. It's just the one my AI threw in here automatically. Mana War is one that you'll probably recognize from Pauper Palink. Oracle of the Alpha, one of the few mythics. This card is just so busted. It's probably well worth the wild card. But again, depending upon how you feel about alchemy and cards that you can't play in non-alchemy, you might feel differently, and you're not wrong. Narset is one of the uncommon planeswalkers and probably one of the best early investments. I mean, it is a mono blue card, but you very often see it in blue-white control, and it's pretty punishing. Each opponent cannot draw more than one card each turn. Notice that's only opponents. It's not going to stop you from drawing a shit ton of cards. Dovin's Acuity, an enchantment. When it ETBs, you gain 2 life and draw a card. Whenever you cast an instant spell during your main phase, you may return Dovin's Acuity to its owner's hand, just reloading it to cast again. Reflector Mage, when it ETBs, return target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. That creature's owner cannot cast spells with the same name until your next turn. Circuit Mender, I think everybody's familiar with this one. Elite Spellbinder, gain 3 life, draw a card, flying 2, 3, 4 mana. Pretty darn good. Solemn Simulacrum, one of my favorite rare wildcard recommendations for Brawl. It triggers when you ETB and when it dies, but not when it leaves the battlefield. An important distinction, but still really, really good. And Muldrifter, of course, we know this guy from our recent excursion into Pauper Brawl. From there, we've got one last column remaining that is just general good stuff. In here, we got Rune of Sustenance. I think this is one of those, if you don't already have it, don't craft it. It's not super great in this deck, but a lot of people already have it, and it's good enough. Dovin's Veto is probably one of the best uncommon counterspells. Banishing Light is removal, as is Borrowed Time, Elite Spellbinder, Touch the Spirit Realm, Pole of the Moon Mist, Skyclave Apparition, Wandering Emperor, Nightclub Bouncer, Teferi is just generally good times. And, well, Elish Norm doubles all your ETB triggers. Do be careful with this one, particularly if you're doing any kind of like mass bounce Yorion effect, because you might accidentally draw your deck and lose to having no cards left to have to draw. And that's no fun on a deck like this, to say the least.
And hey, just in case you didn't catch all that, Matt would like you to know that the deck list that we discussed in this video is going to have a link down in the doobly-doo to take you over to Aetherhub, along with a link to any other alternative lists that you might wish to consider. He only asks that you give it a little like thumbs up when you're over there checking out the deck list. And I plan on live playing this event on Wednesday at 11 a.m. over on my Twitch channel. So definitely stop in and check it out. Because the Stronghold is so much more than just a YouTube channel, and you can find links to all of our other social media outlets in our profile. Because at the end of the day, we're all budget players. And as a community, we're stronger together. So like, comment, subscribe, follow, do all those things to show a little love. It's appreciated more than you know.